Hey guys, Red Pen Mining here. Hope you're doing well. Having a really great day this video. Alright, want to do another video of comparing two different Bitcoin miners. You guys really enjoyed the last one where I compared an S19K Pro to an Octax. You guys really enjoyed that video. So I got a new one here today. We're going to be comparing the Avalon Q versus the Bitmain Antminer S19K Pro 115 Terahash model. So I'm going to compare the pricing of these things, the hash rate, of course the power consumption, we'll go through the efficiency, and also the price, which I think is going to be a really big factor when it comes time for people to decide whether or not they're going to buy something like this, an Avalon Q, which is mainly tended towards home mining, or a really loud ASIC miner like the Bitmain S19K Pro, which is extremely cheap right now, but it provides a lot more terahash than, let's say, this Avalon Q. But there's a lot of pros and cons between these two, so hopefully this video helps anyone that decides to go with either or neither. So before we begin, thank you for today's video sponsor, Cryptominerbros.com. If you guys are looking for an Avalon Q or an S19K Pro, they have them on their website. I'll have links down below if you're interested. Comment down below if you guys want 24-hour hash rate from this S19K Pro. I'll choose a winner after 24 hours. You guys just have to comment down below. Hit the like on this video as well. Just comment with your thoughts on both of these miners. Which one would you rather buy if you had to choose, the S19K Pro or the Avalon Q? Give me your reasons why or why not. Okay, so we got two Bitcoin miners here. Obviously one is much louder than the other. Okay, the Avalon Q is obviously a very quiet miner. It's meant for home, and one of the biggest utilities of this miner specifically is that it is used as a heater, all right, to provide heat. I mean, the S19K Pro can also do the same, but it is very loud, and you probably don't even want to have this up in your living room or your kitchen. I mean, you really can't, because another issue is that this is running on 240 volt power. I guess in North America, you would not be able to plug this into your regular 120 volt outlet. Unlike the Avalon Q, you can do that. You can put this anywhere in your house. And another positive thing is that it has Wi-Fi capability. So unlike the S19K Pro, this only has Ethernet capability. I mean, you could buy like one of those USB to Wi-Fi bridges, and you can make it Wi-Fi essentially, but because I think how loud it is, it's a pretty big determining factor for someone that is going to be mining with one of these. I mean, you got to have the power infrastructure, all right, 240 volt, you got to have the cabling, PDUs, you got to have the circuit run, okay, for something big like this. Unlike the Avalon Q, which I'm running on eco mode right now, which is extremely efficient. This thing is really efficient currently for Bitcoin mining, but of course depending on your electrical cost. So I'm going to go through the efficiency and the dollar per terahash here in a second for the prices of these miners, but let's just take a quick look at profitability. How much Bitcoin or how much money are these two miners making right now? I guess it's the end of, January of 2026. So let's take a look at the Avalon Q right now. All right, how much is this thing making after, I think, about 9 cents per kilowatt hour? All right, this is, I believe, the break-even point for the Avalon Q. All right, so it currently makes about 11 cents right now at 9 cents per kilowatt hour. Of course, if you had free power, it'd be about $3.74 in Bitcoin a day currently, where Bitcoin's price right now, I think, is about $87,000, $88,000. But what if we went up? All right, let's just go up 1 more cent. Let's go to 10 cents per kilowatt hour. As you can see, at 10 cent kilowatt hour, we are making negative 25 cents. All right, so together with the power consumption of about 1647, this thing is losing about $4 a day in electric, while it earns about $3.65 in Bitcoin. So currently the Avalon Q is not really making that much at, I guess, average home residential electric. It's not even breaking even at all. It's actually losing money. If, of course, you were running on standard mode. Again, I'll go through the efficiency numbers in a second. Okay, so now let's take a look at the S19K Pro profitability. Okay, so I believe break even right now, even at 7 cents electric, this thing currently makes about 38 cents. Okay, in terms of income or revenue, it'd be $4.82 right now, and electricity cost at 7 cents per kilowatt hour would be $4.44. So if we went up, let's just say we went up another, I don't know, penny, Okay, let's see how much this thing makes now. Okay, well, it's not making any money at 8 cents electric. It's actually losing money, 34 cents a day. Okay, so you can see the difference there in terms of the cost per kilowatt hour and the efficiency of this S19K Pro 115 terahash model that I have. It's really not making much at all. You gotta have really cheap power. Okay, really cheap power, which I think a lot of bigger industrial miners out there that have cheaper power are running these, maybe at 3 cents, maybe 4 cents per kilowatt hour. And I can show you that comparison right here. Even at 4 cents per kilowatt hour, the S19K Pro can make a couple bucks a day, which at an industrial level, which not very many people have, obviously those guys are gonna buy hundreds, maybe thousands of these, or maybe newer efficient models probably, you know, to make that profit after their electrical cost. Okay, so here's where it gets, you know, more interesting regarding the efficiency of both of these miners, okay? Just comparing these to the Avalon Q, which is an extremely popular miner for home miners, but again, it doesn't really make that much right now, depending on your electrical cost. Or maybe you have free power or solar. Here's where efficiency really plays the part. So on eco mode currently, where I'm getting about 56 terahash right now at 893 watts, okay, you guys can see here, I'm on 110 volt right now, 192 watts right now. Okay, this thing gets an efficiency of about 15.73 watt per hash. So that's pretty good, right? That's really efficient. I think an S21 XP, like the new Bitmain S21 XP, gets about what, 13.5, 13.7 watt per hash. So the Avalon Q is a very efficient miner. But then as we go up, if you do standard mode or super mode, you can see the efficiency actually gets worse because it's using a lot more power. And you can see here, even at, you know, super mode, 95 terahash, 1720 watts, what I can achieve, it's an 18.1 watt per hash. So not very efficient, and it's, yeah, again, unprofitable over 10 cents per kilowatt hour currently, okay, at this point in time. But now let's compare the S19K Pro 115 terahash model. This thing does the one I'm using right now is getting on average about 116 terahash right now. And shout out to PowerPool, that's where I am mining to right now. If you guys are interested, go check out powerpool.io. I really love their website. I've been using it over the past year now, just auto-converting everything into Bitcoin or USDC, which I think they're the only pool that does USDC. And it's a really great feature and extremely profitable. They're very honest with their conversions. If you guys want to go check it out, link down below to sign up to powerpool.io. If you use code RPM, you get 3 months of 0.5% pool fee instead of 1% on everything that you're mining on their pool. Check out powerpool.io, link down below. So back to it. Okay, 116 terahash I'm achieving, and the power consumption is 2,736 watts. Okay, right now on this S19K Pro, it goes up and down a bit, but around there. I'm getting 2743 now. But anyways, the efficiency for this thing is 23.5. All right, so the efficiency is definitely not good. And when we did the comparison in terms of the profitability, you can see how electrical cost was paramount. As we went, you know, higher, this thing, the S19K Pro, became more unprofitable as time went on, right? But you guys can do the number. But here is the most, I'd say one of the most important things for a lot of people, of course, depending, you know, maybe if you have free power or solar, and, you know, you don't want to spend too much upfront, right? And you don't care how loud it is or anything. People also want to look at the dollar per terahash, all right? The price of the miner, right? So the S19K Pro, all right, this one here, you can buy right now pretty much anywhere for under, I think under about 650, under 600 bucks that I've seen for this model, even on the used market, even cheaper. So this model, right, you can attain 115 terahash, okay, with that type of money. But then when it comes to the Avalon Q, this thing goes for between, I think I've seen from $1,600 to $1,800 to up to about $2,000 for the Avalon Q. So in that regard, in that comparison, hash rate alone, the Bitmain S19K Pro, you're getting a lot more dollar per terahash. And that shows right here, as you guys can see, all right? So if we were to just do a sort here, all right, sort by top to bottom, okay, so dollar per terahash, the S19K Pro, all right, does about $5.17 per terahash. Okay, so that's how much we're spending per terahash. Now, if we were to compare to a $1,750 Avalon Q, all right? You can see here, depending on the mode that you're running, eco mode, it's $18 per terahash, 21 on standard, or $30 on super mode. So you're spending almost, what, 3 to 6 times more on the Avalon Q versus the S19K Pro, but the hash rate that you're achieving is much less. But of course, efficiency plays the part here. Okay, so whether or not that, 3 times more in price is worth it for you, comparing the efficiency and, the hash rate, that's gonna be your prerogative. That's gonna be depending on your situation, all right? So here's, a couple more things I wanna compare, right? The Avalon Q, one of the really great things about the Avalon Q I really like for home mining, even though it really doesn't make much, and I think a lot of people, some people, other than using it as a heater, they're just accumulating Bitcoin, slowly, okay? Can't forget about that in terms of whether or not people are using baseboard heaters, gas furnaces. Instead of that, you can use this, right? An Avalon Q, which can just mine Bitcoin and provide heat for you at the same time. So in a sense, even if you're breaking even or losing money at residential electric, you're actually still earning something, right? You're earning Bitcoin with something like this. But for those that really care about the dollar per terahash and maybe are able to mine at a bigger scale, right? Right now, this thing, which you guys can probably hear blaring through my microphone right now, it's obviously not a home miner. This is something that you can't plug in your living room. It's something that you can't plug into your kitchen or your bedroom. It's too loud. I mean, you could get silencer kits for these. I've seen, we've done these before where you put the 3D printed shroud, an inline fan, you can make it quieter, but it gets more expensive that way, and ultimately it's just for those that really want to, quiet it down. Maybe if you live in a place that, they really care about sound in terms of the decibel rating, right? But this thing provides more revenue per se because it has a higher hash rate. So depending on your electrical costs, the S19K Pro, or the newer Bitcoin miners for that matter, the bigger boy ones, are gonna be a better buy because you're gonna be, in a sense, earning a lot more Bitcoin, but it's really two different applications. One is tended towards really home, and one is tended towards like industrial style, maybe, or doing it as a business. Hence why I love this method, because you guys can see I've got a big metal shelf. I got a bunch of bigger boy miners here. It's loud. I have my own dedicated space to do something like this. So for me personally, I prefer, mining with bigger miners like this because I have the infrastructure, I have the power to do it. I have generally, I have about 7.2 cents per kilowatt hour. I ran my electrical circuits myself. I got it all here. Highly recommend getting a Red Seal technician to do that, of course, for electrical wiring. I got my own setup here that I'm capable of doing this, right? I'm doing it also as a business. So everything here, I got to pay taxes on everything like this. Comparing it to like smaller Bitcoin miners and something like that, they don't take much power. So that's more of like a hobby level. So you guys can see, right? Just comparing these two miners, two totally different types of miners. One's loud, one's not. One's mainly tended towards heating your house, but it really doesn't make that much money. I mean, the S19K Pro doesn't really make much at this point in time, depending on your electrical cost, of course. But just comparing, right, these two types of miners, one costs 3 times more than the S19K Pro. Which one would you guys rather buy? Let me know down below. And again, I can't forget, if you guys want to have 24-hour hash rate, just comment down below your thoughts on which one would you rather buy and which one would make sense for you. I know everyone's in a different situation, so let me know down below, and hopefully this video helps somebody understand the differences, comparisons, especially in price, efficiency, and whatnot, comparing these two I'd say very popular models. I'd say the Avalon Q is very popular because people needed a heater at home, and you guys know I have 5 of these myself. They're great heaters upstairs. I highly recommend the Avalon Q as that type of application, right? And at the same time, it mines a little bit of Bitcoin, but you're not gonna get rich tomorrow mining with something like this. But for those that are mining at a larger scale, that's how they're doing it, of course, at much cheaper power rate, especially for these types of miners. But where Bitcoin is now, I'm not saying, the S19K Pro is a good buy. Maybe the larger models, right? The S21 XP, but those cost thousands of dollars more, right? So comparing that, maybe that might be a good comparison against an Avalon Q. I don't know, maybe. If you guys want me to do more of these comparison videos, let me know down below. I have a lot more hardware. I could do more comparisons, but ultimately, I love this. Either one has a very different application. So let me know your guys' thoughts down below. Again, I'll choose the winner for 24-hour hash rate of this. Either pool or solo, it'd be up to you. You just have to let me know. I'll pin your comment if you won and reply. Good luck. I'll see you all in the next video. Let me know your thoughts. Have a good one. Peace out. Peace out. Oh yeah, I have the Avalon Q upside down in case people are wondering, because heat rises and so the power supply is actually on the bottom now. Alright, normally it was at the top, but I did a heat gun experiment and I noticed the heat, you know, really pooling up near the power supply. So it was causing more resistance and using more power, more heat, all that stuff. So I flipped it around and it's definitely much better now. Anyways, peace out, peace out.